Good morning and welcome to the fifth quarter Northern Arizona style. My name is Danny Neal and I am your co-host for the day. And as always, my co-host, my friend, my supervisor, the guy that keeps everybody straight all over Northern Arizona, the man known simply as Coach most of the time. My friend, the coach, Coach Tyrone Johnson. Good morning, Coach. How you doing this morning, man?
Morning, Coach. I'm doing well. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing really, really well. Things went well. Haven't had any mishaps or anything
I'll now
so
tell the
far.
truth. What happened this morning?
Now I spilled my coffee over everything.
That sounds like a mishap to me.
Hey man, I got me a nice new coffee cup. Thought I was going big time, and the first thing I did was move some papers, and bloop, there it went. So now, but I'm back. We ready to go. We got a good show going this morning, man, and I'm just really excited. So first of all, just how your week been, man? I know you've been, out there getting things done.
Yeah, week has been good, man. Just as we in the season, it just rolls and rolls. And
Right.
we went down to Saguaro this past Tuesday and played and just really got a chance to kind of see some of our weaknesses, see areas that we got to work on. And so just looking forward to really seeing if we can correct some stuff for tonight, or if, we're not going to be able to break a half court press. And so, you know, just been working on that type of stuff. And look, just trying to get to where my JV and freshman level is to where, we can just dominate teams.
Hey man, nah, it's not like that. We know that all those good players are up there on varsity. But anyway, all right, so there's a game tonight. Got a game tonight.
Yep.
And you did a preseason number two ranked team from what I heard.
You know, I'm real bad at that. I don't even know who was preseason what, because typically we left out of preseason stuff, and and typically that's not something that I just even go through and look at and so on and
Right.
so forth, because the proof got to come on the court. And so we play Mesquite. They're a solid program. They first game they won like 101-21. So anytime in high school basketball somebody's putting up 100 points, you know that they can play, you know that they're efficient offensively. First quarter, I think they scored 34 points in one quarter. And so, you have to be ready to A, slow them down, and then B, make them see some defense that they probably haven't seen. And so we got to be ready to come out and just play 32 minutes and we got to be ready to go at 100%, as opposed to, playing good for 4 minutes and then just kind of slacking off and going through the motions. So we're excited to get them up because, our at-large games, we want to be playing teams such as this.
Right. And it looks like all the teams in the city has gotten some wins and are really doing good with Coconino girls, Coconino boys, Northland Prep, Flag High boys. I guess they had a double overtime thriller the other night. So basketball, city basketball, Flagstaff is live and well and kicking, and everything's doing well. And then
Hey,
next week.
what about that dunk you were saying with
Oh yeah,
Iowa?
man. I went to watch Coconino play, man, and the guy came through and he had a wide open layup. Looked behind and seen Ivory Washington coming behind him, flipped it off the backboard, and Ivory came through with a two-hand slam dunk, man. And in high school ball, especially in Flagstaff, we're not used to that.
Right.
So so to see Ivory, who's my little cousin, get out there and do that, and his team to support him like that and not be selfish. We had Coach Elliott on last week, and obviously he's doing a great job with those young men over there, as well as Coach Schrader is with the girls. So, man, like I said, we got Pepsi coming up next week. We're bringing in a bunch of teams there. Who do we have coming in that you know of? Well, you got them all in, so I guess you know everybody that's coming up.
Yeah, I knew you was gonna do something like that. You're gonna try and put me on the spot, make me try and remember all these teams. But
Well, that's better than you trying to make me spell eucalyptus or something. So, difference.
so no, we got to Pepsi next week. One thing we had a team coming out of El Paso, Texas, Franklin, and they done dropped out. So we're actually looking for a team And so if we don't, we'll reschedule. But we got 13 teams. The boys have 12 teams. And, we have us. MPA is going to be here. We got Tuba and Winslow, who's staples and coming to the tournament. Then we have some first timers, such as we got Hamilton, we got Sunrise Mountain, we got Tullison, we got that's only like 7, Coach. But
you did well, man.
Look, we got Arizona Lutheran, we got Campo Verde, we got it's another H. Highland is coming up. So, and obviously I left out a couple, but I think we got a good field coming up, and it should be good and it should be fun, and hopefully we see some great basketball over the weekend of December 8th through 10.
Right, man. So everybody come out, and we just want to make sure that everybody understands that these tournaments, we don't invite teams. These teams ask to come up and play in the tournament. So if you're a team out there, and we throw this Christmas tournament every year, and you're interested in playing in it, all you got to do is contact Coach Johnson and Coach Walton, and they'll get you in. So this is not a tournament that's invite only. This is a tournament that if you're interested in coming and playing, don't sit out there and talk about it. Get there, call, and get in, because there's great talent here.
Absolutely. And it's called Pepsi Holiday Invitational, whatever we call it, but we don't actually send out select invites. People see the tournament is typically posted and they contact us, and typically we take the first, if we go in 12, 14, 16 that's qualified and that's ready. So anybody that want to come up, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, man. So, and we also want to make sure everybody knows, if you like what you see in here, hit us with a like, subscribe. We also have chat on. If you want to make a comment, if you have a question, please come on and, hit us up. We got a special guest today, and I know everybody in town knows her. So I know people might want to stop in and say, hey, do whatever the case is. Now that is available. We're just really moving up and getting some things done.
So hey, we like your nickname, Hollywood.
Hey man, don't start that.
Hollywood Neil, yeah, we moving on up now. I see. That's what's
up. You just crazy. You just crazy. So you don't want to go have your name on that court here pretty soon. It's gonna be you walking into the Tyrone Johnson jail.
Hey, if I can win the championship or two, we might just put that on the docket.
Hey, well, I know one thing. We're definitely going forward this year, as every year. So, Coach, we're going to move right along here because we got a guest, man, that we're going to just really chop it up with. We could probably sit and talk to this guest for the next hour and a half, 2 hours. But so I'm going to let you bring it out. I brought you out, right, like the kings of comedy, because I know this was going to be a joke. But anyway, we want you, since you're serious, to bring our next guest out, because this is special, man. This is really special.
Yeah, it definitely is special. And, I could do a Kings of Comedy style. She hails from the high school of Flagstaff High. I can go on and on. But no, seriously, this is somebody who I had the pleasure of coaching. Hey, man, way back in like NJB League when she was itty bitty, you know what I mean? And she coming out there, and she one of the girls that was better than the majority of the guys. And I think the first year I got her, I already had I think I had Trev, Reese. I don't know if I had Steven Sorden. And then all of a sudden they put her on my team. And I was like, oh, yeah, people going to be mad at us. And, I've had the pleasure of coaching her through the years. In high school, she was a big impact for us and our success at the high school level. And, beyond being a basketball player, she's just a great person. And once she got of age and we kind of let her in on the sidelines, we got to know her even better. And so this is none other than my girl, one of our bestest that came through the program. Now she's a coach. And so we're going to bring on Coach Savannah Bix. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Good morning. Excuse the music behind me. I'm actually at school right now, so that's the bell music. It'll turn off here in a minute, but excited to be with two of my favorite guys this morning. So thank you guys for having me.
Hey, good morning. And Coach Bix is one of the few, I've run the youth basketball league for a lot of years. You hear all these kids, hey man, you got to watch this one. You got to watch this one. Coach Bix is one of them we heard about ever since she was like in 3rd or 4th grade. Hey, y'all got to watch this one. And I have to watch myself because I'll say 3rd or 4th grade. Then after the show, coach will tell me, oh, they didn't even move here to 6th grade. Why you lying? So, so I know it seems like, yeah, definitely 3rd or 4th grade. We've known Coach Bix, and she came with this hype that she handled. She lived up to her name.
Mhm.
But we've been hearing about Coach Bix ever since she was third or fourth grade, man.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Coach, we just happy to have you. Don't you one of them that don't pay us no mind. You just sit there and shake your head.
You guys are hyping me up a little bit too much this morning, but
No, we not. And so here's what we like to do. I mean, we know a lot about you. Everybody that tune in may not necessarily know everything about you. So why don't you run us down? Give us a brief background, give us a brief history for you and what you're doing right here, right now.
yeah, moved to Flagstaff when I was 8. Got started in NJB and City League and everything, which is how I met the both of you. And obviously was lucky enough to play all 4 years for you guys at Flag High, and went on to play at New Mexico Highlands for a couple years and had some injuries and things like that. And then really fell in love with coaching. I mean, I really fell in love with coaching. And Coach Neal probably will always remember this, when I was coaching an NJB team, and those kids made me so mad one morning, and I was like pulling a Coach Johnson and doing one of his videos here. And he's recording me with his little flip phone. And that's really kind of what started my love for basketball. And so, yeah, now I'm on my 5th year as the head coach at Poston Butte High School in Santan Valley. And we're just trying to get up to Flag High's level and be a state contender every year. And we're getting there year by year. So that's kind of what I'm up to now. I also teach here, so I'm here at Poston Butte all the time. So that's what I'm up to.
And congratulations, you just won a tournament here last week.
Yeah, that was cool. It was first time in school history. Like, Poston is relatively new, only been around for about 13 or so years. And girls basketball hasn't really been super successful over the years. So, and any little thing that we can do success wise is something that's memorable to us, because up until recently we'd never had a winning season. And now that's kind of the expectation every year. But I'm lucky. I have a great setup here, and I absolutely love it.
That's awesome. Good. And you talk about your success currently, take us from when you came, the program that you inherited, and just what it's done took to build it up to what it is now, because you're not only winning tournaments, you're qualifying for state, you're getting in, and you guys are competing on a day in and day out basis now.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly I had no idea what I was doing when I took over. I did 1 year coaching JV at Desert Mountain. I didn't know what Poston Butte was or where it was. I knew nothing about the school, but I went in, interviewed. They somehow gave me the job at 22, 23. And I just had to kind of reestablish that culture of family, a lot of the stuff that you guys taught me and things that we did while I was playing for Flag High and under you guys, and got in and just, established the culture of family and loving each other and just working really hard. We always have the identity of, we're not ever going to be the best team, but we're always going to be the toughest team and the best defensively if we can. And so my first year we went 9-17, and I was like, I've never really been a part of a really losing program. Every year at Flag High, we were a solid program, Final Four contenders. We didn't lose a whole lot of games. So I went home every day like, what am I doing? I'm just terrible at this. Like, I need to get better. So I did. I went to a bunch of coaching clinics my first year. I did anything that I could to try and learn and get better. And then the next year we barely went over 500. We went 16-14, and we got into the play-in round, which is when we played Coconino that year. So that was a big step in our turn in us battling and competing. And then every year we've done one thing further. So like that year, playing around. The next year we went to the Sweet 16, lost to Mesquite. And then last year we hosted a playoff game and a play-in game for the first time in school history, and then went up and, you handed it to us up in Flagstaff. But, every year we do one step further. So it's been good. And we're hoping to do the same this year.
Yeah, you guys are really solid this year in terms of looks like on your defense. It looks like if that's what you're emphasizing, that's certainly coming through, because you look at the scores during that tournament, and the highest somebody scored on you was 32 points in the championship game. And then your first AIA game, you play Paradise Honors, and they only get 34. And so when you talk about emphasizing defense, tell people kind of what you mean and what it really takes to be a solid defensive team?
I mean, we just have that the mindset that we're just simply not good enough to not play defense. And if I never have to run a half court set in my life, I'm happy, because we don't have a ton of height. We don't have kids that play club. We don't have anybody that does anything outside of high school. And so, and defense is about heart, something that you guys taught us. And as players and stuff like that, it's just, got to get after it defensively. You don't have to be a good basketball player to play good defense. And that's kind of what we hound, because we don't usually have the most skilled kids. Like one of my kids is going to definitely pursue track in college, and she's a, elite track star, not a basketball player by any means. But she works so hard and creates things for herself. Like last night, she had 8 steals in 3 quarters, just because she worked super hard and, just has that identity of battling and competing and things like that. Because again, if we can just play defense and get transition buckets, my life is much easier than having to run offense, because we're not so good at that.
Well, I will say, Coach Bix said, I'm glad you brought that up about the first time you coached, because I was gonna bring it up. But I mean, just to see where you were at. I mean, that day you had coached your first game in the middle school. I think you had lost. It was a close game. You were frustrated. You came out crying. It's like, where's Coach Johnson? I hate this. What am I doing wrong? And I'm just recording you and just cracking up. I gotta find that. And because you were distraught. You were. It was over. You were the worst coach. You didn't think you could play basketball anymore. And to see where you are right now, it just shows everybody. Everybody goes through that. And if you just keep pushing, good things will happen. And that's you, and it's always been you through your injuries and everything like that. It's just been a joy to watch you and watch you work and everything. It's also nice to hear you talk about defense as much offense as you and Coach Johnson. Y'all were just offensive players. So for years, I was telling Coach, hey, man, we got to play defense. Coach like, we got to outscore somebody.
Yep.
So nice to hear you just push that defense.
Yep, got to.
And Coach Bix, I give you a fun fact. If you won 9 games your first year, I only won 8 my first year. I was 8-18. So you started off your high school career better than me.
All right. The only thing more important than that is ending better than you end, Coach. So I'm a long ways from that, but I appreciate the fun fact.
Hey, you're only about 420 wins away.
Yeah, only. We'll get there. I'm chipping away.
You're going to get there. You're going to get there.
Yes, indeed. So, Coach, looking at your schedule this year, what are some of the key games that you're looking forward to? What are some of the key games that are going to really give you an idea of where you line up with some of the top teams in the state?
Well, we got Seton Catholic on Wednesday. So that, as we all know, in Arizona, one of the best high school girls programs ever in Seton Catholic. And so we'll get to see where we match up with them on Wednesday. And that's always a special game to me, because my first 2 years we were in the same region as Seton Catholic. We did not belong there at all. It was brutal. And I'll never forget, we lost to them like 74-8, I believe, my first year. And I just, again, went home thinking, what am I doing? And then last year we lost by 14. So it was still a loss, but it was somewhat of a moral victory to us, because to see how far we've come. But yeah, that's obviously a big one. Final 4 teams, see where we're at against them on Wednesday. I don't think they really lost anybody last year, so it's about the same team. And then we have Mesquite mid December, and so that's always a tough one too. We always battle with them. It seems like we see them everywhere, every tournament in the summer we see them at some point, and so we got kind of a little rivalry with them. And so those 2 games for sure. I'm excited to play them, and they're always, as you know, well coached. Coach Candace and Coach Self have been there forever, so always excited to see where we match up with them. And then we're in a new region, so we'll see what teams like ACP and the ALAs, Gilbert and Queen Creek, what they bring. But those definitely are the 2 games that I'm looking forward to the most.
Nice. And then what about your tournaments? What tournaments are you guys playing in this year?
So we just went down to Sunnyside High School to do something different. We're kind of closer to Tucson, and so it's kind of an easier drive for us as the Thanksgiving tournament this time. And so we just did that one, and it was good to play Sunnyside in the championship because they're a lot like us. They're a smaller team, super scrappy, super tough, not crazy skilled, and so it's kind of like playing against us, and that was good. And then we're actually again doing something different. We try to do a different tournament every year. We're going up to Payson, and so we have Sholo, ALA Ironwood, and then I think we have Ganado on the schedule, which it's always fun to play some res teams and, you know, go back to the roots of what, because it's such a different type of game. And so it's always fun for the girls to see that.
Right, right.
And when is that Payson tournament?
It is December 16th and 17th. And it's just, again, something different. We want to see different people. And we like to go get out of town for a little bit, take the kids away from their parents and school and everything. So just, again, a little something different.
Right.
And I know that, you know, for you when you came in, because you came up to the Pepsi a few times and came back, and I know in talking with you that it's important to get away and to bond and everything else like that with the girls. How does the makeup of the team reflect you as a coach? What parts of your personality is really implemented into your team?
Well, first of all, we have a heck of a good time all the time. We get after it. They work hard, they battle, but I'm pretty sure half the time is spent, roasting each other all the time. Like the kids, it's just constant jokes, similar to playing in your guys' program. We're always on each other's heads and, always joking. And it seemed like there was never a dull moment, even after the bad practices and, the sprints and like, I'll never forget like the prank you pulled on us my sophomore year when you said that we were messing around. We were late to the bus. You made us run at Arizona Grand Resort and the golf course and played this whole prank, and everyone was mad at the sophomores because it was supposed to be our fault. And so in turn, I got my kids back with that a few years ago because I was like, man, if somebody did this to me, I have to get them back. Like, there's no way I cannot, I was so mad at you that time. I'll never forget because everyone's like cursing our names and the sophomores, like, gosh dang it, sophomores, you're so immature. And I did the same exact thing to my kids a few years ago. And I was like, man, this is fun. Like coaching is so fun. Like you just get to mess with kids all the time. But no, that would be something that's reflected a lot. And then hard work. I don't think I was ever the best player, but I think I did work pretty hard. And so that's just something that I think they reflect and that kind of identity and things like that. But yeah, we have a good time. We get after it. So yeah.
Now, I beg to differ with you a little bit. There was definitely some teams that you were the best player. Obviously your freshman and sophomore year, you got to play with a talented group. And then after that, I think it was pretty much you. we had some good supporting cast and stuff like that. So right. I think there's the time that you were the best player on the team.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that. And as you say, just as a leader, you wasn't always that vocal, but just your work ethic. Like you said, just that hard work, man. Everybody got to get behind you and go. So but that's the identity of your team. That's why they're at. Because that's where they're at. So I know I didn't get that right, Coach, but it'll get there soon.
Yeah, Coach Bix, tell him to enunciate his words so you can understand what he's saying.
I know what you're saying, Coach. Speak
I hear you. Thank you, Coach Bix. You know how he is sometimes. But but I mean, we had some really good times. And so who are some of your players to look out for this year?
Well, this year is for me kind of a little more of an emotional year because it's my 5th year, but the seniors last year didn't start at Post and Butte, so I didn't have them all 4 years. And so the 5 seniors we have this year, I've had all 4 years. Some of them I coached in 8th grade at the middle school, and then just kind of watching them grow up and things like that. And so this year we're a little more senior heavy. I feel like I've had a young team over the years, but now we're a little more senior heavy. So Adriana Bachman is somebody that everybody talks about a lot. She's, my back-to-back region defensive player of the year as a sophomore and junior, which is a pretty big deal to do that back-to-back. So hopefully this year she can do it again, or even player of the year. She's reminds me a lot of myself as a player. She just really, really hardworking, super tough, probably not crazy skilled, but she gets after it defensively and lots of hustle plays. And she's, a heck of a leader. She's a kid that really holds people accountable. and talks on the floor, kind of directs people. She's a great kid. And then she actually has a twin who in the years past was always kind of like a little bit in Adriana's shadow, but definitely not the case anymore. She's worked really hard. Helena Bachman, her twin. And she's done, like, she led us in that tournament offensively most games. And again, super hardworking, good kid. The both of them are some of the hardest working individuals I've ever met. They pay for all their own bills. They work, on the weekends and some nights after practice, and also while holding a 4.0 GPA. And so they're a huge part of what we do with not only on the court but off the court. They're just great examples of what I want kids to learn and be like throughout playing for me. And so those two for sure. And then we've got a sophomore, Samira Gray. That kid is probably going to be the best player to come out of Poston View thus far. She's just a hooper. Like, there's no other way to describe her. Like, she goes to the park, she plays pickup, she plays with her brother, she plays with boys, like, and you could tell, like, she's got that kind of pickup basketball flow with her. And that kid is special. She's definitely unlike, like, we don't really get players like her out at Poston View in Santan Valley. Like, she's good. She's smooth, she's shifty, she finishes well, and she's still only a sophomore, so she's still got to mature a little bit in being a leader, point guard wise. Like, she's got to be a little more vocal, but she's going to be a kid that she'll, probably the best one that'll come out of here for sure, up to this point. And then I'll probably just talk about my starting five. And then Julia Harris, she's my little defensive phenom. She actually, again, a track athlete. She's not a basketball player at all. Like, you look at her and you're like, that's not a basketball player. But she just outworks everybody. There's such a difference when she's on the floor. She defensively disrupts everyone. Like, sometimes I'll throw my shoes on and scrimmage with them, and I don't want her guarding me. Like, I'm like, no, if she's guarding me, I'm passing the ball. Like, I'm getting too old for that. Like, I don't want her locking me up. Like, I don't want those problems. But she's a junior, so we got kind of a mix of a couple senior leaders and younger kids. And then lastly, I got a kid named Kyla Fowler, another senior that I've had since 8th grade. Embodies leadership. She's always positive and bringing everybody together. She talks defensively. She really controls our defensive rotations, and she's a pretty good outside shooter. So that's my starting five. I don't know how much we'll rotate this year, but we got some good kids, some good pieces for sure.
And it sounds like you got everything covered, from shooters to defenders to, you got all those positions covered. So that's good stuff.
So, Coach, what is one of your goals in this coaching thing? Are you content at the high school level? Do you have ambitions to get to the next level? I mean, you're obviously knowledgeable with basketball. You've done well as a player. You're doing well as a coach at the high school level. What do you want to come out of this coaching thing?
Long term, I've always thought I might want to get into the college level. And I'm currently pursuing my master's degree in coaching and athletic administration to hopefully, help me maybe get there down the line. But right now, I'm just really happy where I'm at. I love Poston View. I have great administration. I have a great setup. Phenomenal. I love what I do. I love the kids. I've got parental support. Just in talking to a lot of other coaches around the state, I have it made, honestly. It would be silly for me to want to go anywhere else. Because I've had a few, schools out here call me and ask if I wanted to come take over their programs and stuff, some bigger schools. And I just love Poston View. I really do. I like the kids that are a little rougher around the edges, that don't have things just given to them. They have to earn them. Right. And so down the line, I think, maybe if it was right timing and everything else lined up, I could see myself wanting to coach at the college level. But for right now, I'm pretty content and pretty happy at Poston View. And I feel like there's so much we still have to do and still have to give. And so I don't really see myself wanting to leave anytime soon.
Nice.
Well, it's about that time in the show, Coach, where we ask for a little motivation for the people out there. And to get to that point, it's time for our Coach Johnson's Golden Nugget question of the week.
Oh, there we go.
Look, before we get to that, you did make mention of a time that you were mad at me, and so give us your favorite I guess, Coach J frustration moment in your high school career, anything? Give us that, and then we'll get into the Golden Nugget.
You know what? Okay. I got a lot of them, Coach. I got a lot of them. And I tell my kids this all the time. I tell them all the time, I'm like, hey, there was times I went home really mad at my coach, but I always knew eventually, maybe not that night or the next day, that he had a method behind his madness. But I remember one time, it was my 18th birthday, and we were playing Mingus. And I started pretty much most of my high school career with my senior year. And I don't know, I did something in practice the day before, and I probably deserved it, but you didn't start me, and you didn't play me the whole first quarter. And it was my birthday. It was my 18th birthday, Coach. And I'm like, this man is so, like, he's just cold-hearted. Like, maybe I did have a bad attitude. Like, maybe I did do something, but you made me so mad. And I just sitting there the whole time on the bench, like, doing one of these. I'm like, he's going to put me in. He's going to put me in. I had, like, family there because it was my birthday. And, you know, I remember making eye contact with my dad, and he just shook his head because he knew I did something. Like, he was that parent. He's like, what did you do? You know, it was never the coach's fault. It was, what did you do? And I'm like, the whole first quarter, and then second quarter, he's like, all right, Bix, go. And I remember I played really well, and I went on like a little run. Mingus wasn't very good at the time, so I went on a little run. And I remember I just like made eye contact with you, and you had that smirk that you always had when you're like, all right, see, did you learn your lesson? And I just was like, oh, that man makes me so angry. But like, as a coach now, I totally get it. And I actually, it's funny you bring that up because I just told my kids this story like last week. I can't remember what it was, but we were talking about starting and how it really doesn't matter. And I told them that story about how I could have pouted more, and I did pout, but when I went in, I had to go off a little bit to prove him wrong, and that's, you know, that's what he was trying to get me to do. So I mean, that's a moment that sticks out. But you definitely, there's a lot of moments that I was like, this man is crazy. Like, I don't know what his problem is, but he's got some screws loose. So that's just one that's top on my head right now.
Coach Bix, I've been telling you that for how long?
I know it. He definitely, there's something off, but you know.
But as a coach, you also learn that if the kids don't go home mad at you at least once or twice, you're not doing your job.
Oh yeah, at least.
Yeah. And I tell my girls that all the time. You gonna go home mad at me, so you might as well get ready for it. Yeah. And if you don't, I'm not doing my job.
Yep. Ain't here to be your friend.
He did his job very well.
Huh? Oh, heck yeah, he did. Heck yeah, he did, man. Yeah, we could probably do another show to talk about all the times Coach Johnson made me mad, but we'll save that.
We will. We'll have to say that for another time.
We're gonna have a man
get into the golden quest.
Hey, we're gonna bring in about 5 of the girls. You know, hey, one time his own daughter had planned, him and another girl had planned how Michelle Blanton was gonna stand in front
Jones,
of him.
I think.
Huh?
It was Cassie Jones, her and Cassie Jones.
Oh, well, okay. That. Well, you know I'm not lying. Him and Cassie, so Cassie was gonna stand in front of him. Illy was gonna throw the ball hard to her. She was gonna act like she tripped or something, so the ball hit him.
Yep.
Didn't do it. But,
yeah. Look, they would have really seen something. But let's get with this golden.
One more time.
All right, Coach Bix. Just, you know, you obviously played well in high school. You were a recruitable athlete in college. For those girls that are getting a chance, or guys or anything like that, that are getting a chance to be looked at by different schools, what's one thing that you would tell them in terms of their decision making on, you know, where to go? Do you go where you want it, or do you just keep pushing to go to where you want? You know, what would be one piece of advice you would give somebody looking to make that decision?
There's probably a lot I could say about that, because if I could go back, you know, hindsight's 2020. If I could go back and do it all over again, I would definitely do some things different. But I would say go where you feel valued, and really do research on where you're going to go. Like the school, the area, everything, because you do have to live there for, you know, 4 years potentially. And so I would say visit as many schools as you can, talk to as many schools as you can. Don't get caught up in the level, because speaking from experience, I think I got caught up in the level. I think I was a kid that should have gone JUCO, and I would have really benefited from 2 years of more development at a higher level. But because I was, you know, too good for JUCO because I was, a dumb 18-year-old kid that thought I knew more than everybody else. I didn't. And so definitely don't get caught up in the level. Just, playing college basketball is a blessing no matter where you do it. If it's an NAIA, Division III, JUCO, anything in between, it's always a blessing. So go where, fits you the best and school-wise, location-wise, extracurricular-wise, and go where you're genuinely going to be happy, because no matter what, family says or anybody else says, you're the one that has to put on the shoes every day and suit up and practice for that coach and for that school. And so, but the big thing would definitely be not to get caught up in the level, because I think that I did. And I wish that if I could go back and do it over again, I wouldn't have had that mentality, but we all know better later on. So
that's true. And for you to understand that means a lot, because most people wouldn't make that assumption. They, oh no, I was good enough. This happened, that happened, this happened, and all these excuses. You are, you understand it and willing to admit that, hey, I could have did things differently.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
That's what we need. People like that mentoring our young kids, is people like you, Coach Bix.
Yes, indeed. And, just the nugget that you gave in the sense of don't get caught up on the level. I try to tell the kids nowadays, don't worry about the D's. Everybody worried about D1 or D2. Don't worry about the D's. Like you say, it's a blessing just to be recruitable and to get a chance to play at the college level, no matter where it's at, JUCO, whether it's, NJCAA or whatever you're playing. Just be, happy and blessed and fortunate that you can move on to that level. So, man, Coach Bix, we definitely appreciate you. We love you. Wish you best of luck this year. And hopefully we'll see each other down the road one day when we plan, but hopefully it'll be for that ball. We don't have to do it in the early rounds.
Yeah, that'd be ideal. But no, I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Can't thank you guys enough for having me. And I could sit here and talk to you guys all day. So just appreciate it.
Yeah.
And thank you, Coach. It's just nice seeing you and everything. And you tell your mom, your dad, everybody, we send our love, hello, and
Likewise. Yeah, I'll definitely make it up to see you guys. I always try to catch a game or two. So
right.
Hopefully it'd be nice if we, like you said, Coach, see each other in that championship. But either way, we'll see you down the road for sure.
Absolutely. You take care of yourself. As always, let me know if you need anything. And then, I'm going to do the same. And best of luck with everything, Coach. And we'll be catching up soon.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Hey, thanks, Coach. Love you. We'll see you later.
Love you guys.
All right. Hey, Coach, that's another good show, man. And what's funny, and I hope Coach Bix is still listening, because last week's show, Coach Elliott was talking about how he get out there and one of those guys just stops him playing defensively, and he's still trying to play with the guys. Coach Bix is saying, yeah, I'm getting out there with the girls, and this girl, I hate her defend me. When the last time you been on the court with the girls, man?
Man, when I get out there, I don't worry about nobody defending me. I'll be balling still.
Look at those.
I'll be balling. I give it to them girls. You know what I'm saying? So
no, you don't give them a chance to defend you. You be shooting from the outside. You don't even get there and mix it up no more.
Hey, I was just battling like probably last week a little bit. You know what I mean? But see, what I do nowadays, I just shorten the duration. I go in there, hit a shot or two, then I'm subbing out. I done my job. Man, you foolish. What you got going today?
Big bow. Do best with him. Hey, we got to do another show with you, Coach. We still got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we sure will.
All right. Hey, let's get out of here, man.
Yeah, man. I ain't got time for your foolishness. I got stuff to do. So I don't know what everybody else got to do out there today. We hope y'all have a great day. But I do know one thing. You ain't got to go home.
But you got to leave here. Peace.